From Sunset Beach, Hawaii, weighing 267 pounds, the magnificent Muraco.
Why is it they call him magnificent? The man who lifts condominiums off his chest. Anything that's explosive, anything that's exciting, Prince of Darkness, Master of Destruction, perpetrator of violence. Get ready! I'm gonna burn this place down!
Hello, James here. Don Muraco's magnificent podcast plugs out the way first. Owen, Hart and the Rock books behind me. You can find them on Amazon. And that's pretty much it. We're not doing any other plugs, so let's launch straight into it. We're going to be doing Ask Muraco Anything. So an hour's worth of questions from the fans, words to your ears and answers out of your lips if you are ready to go.
Hey, it's Don the Rock.
Who used to say that?
New Zealand. They call me that. I don't know if that was kind of in that, that accent.
So it is a vague approximation to a New Zealand accent. That.
Yeah.
You do so many different accents. You've got the Haiti Kid. You've got, I don't know, Lord Littlebrook or Skylar, whoever it was. Everyone's, but all the impressions are saying your name.
Oh.
Dan Muraco. That was Haiti, wasn't it?
Jesus. I can't even think of it. I just run across them and I'm doing them while I'm talking about the guy, and I don't have them. They're not programmed.
Is Haiti Kid? He's still alive, isn't he?
I heard he was. Yeah.
We'll have to find him. We'll have to bring him on. We don't seem too enthusiastic about that.
St. Louis, Kansas City, I suppose, huh?
Well, maybe we'll have to hunt him out. If someone knows how to get to him, I'll look on Facebook, see if I can't find him.
They'd have the cars that drive by the hand and stuff. No cars and nothing.
So if he's not got a car, then he's probably still in Kansas. They just left him there and
waiting for Dorothy and Toto.
All right, so okay, Hater Kid hopefully coming up in an upcoming episode, who knows? Right, so the first question is from Kevin Jordan. Talk us through the Wendy Richter, Fabulous Moolah, Spider Lady screw job.
Jesus, you know as much as I do. I guess Wendy got real tight with Cyndi Lauper. Must have thought, that she was going somewhere and had something to do with it. And, obviously probably wanted more money. Or, Moolah probably squeezing her. I don't know. This is my guess. It's one of my own. Tell me about it. Okay, I'll tell you what I can guess about it, because I know nothing about it. But how I'm sure Moolah was squeezing his shoes for the payday when Wendy was she worked that whole time. But the meet and greet, the press conferences and this, and crew hanging around with Cyndi Lauper, and whatever the hell they did, to get I'm sure when you probably got a taste of that life, and maybe I'm probably, and I'm really guessing that the check went through Moolah's office. And Moolah, that much for me.
If you were on the card, you were 2 matches ahead, and you defeat Ricky Steamboat via DQ. So you were there, Madison Square Garden. It was.
Yeah, but I wasn't in the girls' locker room.
With Wendy,
maybe Moolah's locker room, filming a love scene for our next food prize.
How popular was Wendy?
She was okay. She was with one of the girls at first, and she's one of Moolah's girls. Then she moved out, and I guess she got that break that thing, and then she kind of went independent, I guess. Or picked up, and 'cause she never came back. Because after that, it was like Rockin' Robin and Sherry and those girls there. I don't remember Wendy coming back. I remember seeing Wendy over, and she came over here. Some guys run promotions and stuff over here. But I don't remember her working back in New York after that.
No, that was her last date. She appeared in the NWF, which was not Gene Kiniski. Was it not Gene Kiniski's? Was it? I can never remember that one.
Vancouver.
She was in AWA for a bit and then basically retired.
Yeah, she did independent. I guess I ran into her in a couple independent shows.
We'll move on. D. Wade wanted to know if Don was ever double-crossed on a finish, if it was actually supposed to end one way, but someone decided to change the outcome without telling him. If so, why?
No, not really. No, everything. That was an era and a half before me. Like, Luthez and Bill Miller and Buddy Rogers, even Buddy Rogers probably on the end of it. But the earlier, guys there, working their own finishes or going, get in the ring to see who's who's tougher or something like that. That was a way different era before. I mean, I wasn't even when I first broke into the business in the 70s. That wasn't, didn't seem logical. Even on, especially for top guys, but especially, preliminary low guys, it was ridiculous.
With
You're trying to learn, trying to get over, with the boys.
With this, do you remember hearing any stories from, as you say, a generation or two ago, where this genuinely did happen? Any sort of famous instances?
No, I remember Thez telling a story one time, vaguely, long time. I think Ben Miller, and he was going into the ring with another, that St. Louis wrestling around there, and somebody made a comment about something, and Lou said, "Oh, we're going to see some wrestling tonight," or something like that. Well, that's the only. Other than I don't know, offhand. I read the question this afternoon, and I couldn't think of. I didn't put a lot of thought into it. Now I am, and even go blanker. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess there's no future in it. If I'm the champion, and I'm supposed to go over, and you on your own, maybe if like that Montreal screw job or something, something like that with Bret Hart or whatever happened there. Maybe if it was it was an office decision, a company decision, but it would serve you no purpose. If I was a champion and I'm going to win, I'm going to keep the belt. It would serve you no purpose to come in and and shoot on me and beat me for some reason. The only thing, if and then it would depend how much power you have and how much stroke you have, and what the territory is going to do with you. But the office is just going to fry you, because it's not. It goes from week to week, but they're set up. This is May. Well, the beginning of July, we got this building here. We're running 2,000 to 6,000 people weekly or bi-weekly over this area. But we got this other building here coming in on the first second week of July. We want to do 15,000, 20,000 people in. So you can't. So there's really no future in pulling a double cross or doing something like that. In professional wrestling, maybe just something else or another business or something like that. Boxing or MMA or something. Heard these guys MMA, they're betting on themselves.
Well, that's not illegal. You can bet on yourself. I mean, you can in boxing as well, but you just can't bet on the other guy.
Well, take a beating.
With well, I'll ask it one other slightly different way. Do you remember being in a match where the finish was changed because the referee had screwed up, or because there was an injury and they took a count out, or something of that effect?
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's happened. Shit happens. And then goes. It's not a. It's not a common thing either. It doesn't. It's not a. They're few and far between. It's professional wrestling. God, last 40, 50 years that I've been involved in it, it's pretty much cut and dry down the line. Guys go in, guys go do their job. You first match, second match, third match, main event, semi, coming back, whatever. You just go. Everything's. It's like a play or a show or something. Like the Eagles or going to see somebody. You got. I mean, when I went to Sunset Strip, I was living in Santa Monica one time. A couple group. We went down in Sunset Strip. I think it was Muddy Waters or sorry, I forget his name, but he was an old blues player. And he went and he was just, rocking out and everything. And the set was over. He just went, just powered down, and everybody's, yeah, right. That was just another night. Just, 1, 2, 3. I'm out the door. Well, it doesn't serve you any doesn't serve you any purpose to, and then again, like you said, change matches or change finishes or change something. Yeah, shit happens. Guys see something that goes, goes another way or something, or you want to, a promoter, you want to do, you think it should go one way, or, and they want something else, thinking, well, we're doing this, we should, no, we want to get time out of you. I had Flair talking about, or Steamboat talking about it. Him and Flair, they want the guy, the promoter wanted them to go. They'd been going 3 or 4 hours in a row, hour this, gone through every time, and the other guy wanted it. So they went and he said, well, let's just go through. No, he said, no, I don't want. Whoever was running the town. So they did about 58 minutes, 59 and a half minutes before they went into it, and they finished before that. So he should have gone through with him, But I remember him in snooker when we were outside Pittsburgh. We wanted to go and we wanted to, they wanted some time. So I went out there and went about 30 minutes to 40 minutes. We worked a big long match. But the people were with it, so it was a good deal out of Pittsburgh.
Next question, Jordan Tomlin. If you wrestled into the 90s in WWF or WCW, who do you think would have been? Who do you think you would have had good chemistry with in the ring?
Oh my God, who's the 90s? Who's that? The Rock, Cena?
Not Cena. He was 2000s, but the Steve Austins, the Kevin Nash, the Scott Halls, the Hulk Hogan's, I suppose. Still,
Warrior, Macho Man.
Yeah.
Nash, Scott Hall.
Shawn Michaels, Brett.
Oh, Michaels, yeah. Gee. I saw some matches with Mike when he first, when Vince first started to fall in love with him. That ladder match with Razor Ramon. Whew. He was in his prime there. He did. That was some badass work. Bumps he was taking, the movie, boy.
It's almost quaint now, looking back at it in '94, because there's been so many stunt shows since then.
Yeah, but the timing, it's universal. It's the timing on all the stuff he did. It was he wasn't just backflipping off the top ropes and doing the things he was doing on with the ladders and now they've seen it and it looked, but it was, everything was, didn't look, it looked pretty, everything didn't look really staged or, really everything was top. It was beautiful. I didn't watch, I was just happened to watch it because when Razor passed a couple months ago. and that thing came on, and I'd heard about it, and people, rightfully so, talk about that match, and so I had my first chance to watch it. Yeah, it was good.
Well, let's talk about Shawn Michaels then. So he and Marty Jannetty come into the WWF in late 1987, and then they're almost immediately fired. Do you remember them even coming in for this very brief period?
Kind of. Then I remember going around, making the rounds with us a couple times. They kept to themselves. They're real quiet, maybe because they'd already gotten fired first, just a little bit before that. And then when they came back in, they were really they didn't talk, they didn't talk a lot. They didn't,
No, they didn't really have any opportunity to talk. They were fired after a few weeks, apparently because of excessive partying. And I think maybe Jesse Barr had something to do with it as well. They were wrestling the Shadows at the time, which the Shadows were Los Conquistadors. And then, anyway, they come back a year later, but by the time they come back for Survivor Series 88, then that was a month after you had left. So you never really shared the same company with them. But, I mean, did you even ever meet Shawn?
Yeah, they were there for a little. Like I said, they were there for whatever few weeks they were there. We were together. I mean, we're a lot of places we crossed paths often. Like I said, they were real. They didn't talk to anybody, They didn't talk to the guys, They were kind of standoffish, and it would seem kind of weird because everybody was kind of, pretty down home by then. You'd been around. I guess you didn't see yourself as being this big international, star. Or it's kind of when you're in your group, Fuji and George Steele and Piper and this guy, whoever you happen to be around, you didn't Tito, you didn't. I don't think you really viewed yourself as just they're the guys, but you're to a point, but not over it. So when somebody didn't, didn't seem friendly, it was curious.
Did you have any interaction with Shawn when you went back for various Hall of Fame ceremonies?
Always very nice, very courteous. Yeah. Nice guy, nice to me. Very respectful.
Where do you rank Shawn as far as the modern workers? Because you kept watching wrestling here and there, and you must have seen enough of Shawn Michaels to know how good he was.
Real good. Good one, yeah. As good. Maybe the transition from his timing, everything was great. It was great. A lot of guys call him best. What did Flair call him? The best, but he got a hard on for him for something. But he's the best technical worker in the ring of all time. There's some kind of classification. Well, not greatest of all time, just the greatest technical work, greatest something. I don't know, but that's give him his dues, but still pulling the rug out a little bit.
Yeah, he was the greatest wrestler called Shawn.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll move on.
Greatest wrestler. No, he was good. He was really good.
Right, next one. Andreas. I've not even attempted this name. Stavrinu. Don, before he retired in the early 1980s due to health reasons, did you ever have the privilege to wrestle Haystacks Calhoun?
A couple 6-man when I was around, and he came around Florida. So he was pretty much on the D, heavily on the decline. He was, just doing battle royals and 6-man and tags and stuff. He was still a card though when he came down. He kind of homesteaded around WWF for quite a while. I get, that area up there after. And he was, he was a big card. I didn't know him well, but I did work with him a few times.
Was he like Andre? Was he like a pre-Andre traveling
attraction? So Andre came and killed all those guys. They just didn't after him, they were just big fat slobs. You're gonna you're 500 pounds this way or 500 pounds that way. It's just people like to be entertained, but they realize that after to a point, we grew up football, everything progresses. The how's quickness and speed and agility is all important.
Who would of these like travelling attractions? Can you name any of the others? Because I know there's like Dusty, and even Rocky Johnson would be brought in for the odd show here and there to boost attendance. But can you give me some of the guys, maybe pre-Andre, who would be one-off attractions to bring up houses for a week?
Butch, Abdullah. Abdullah would make the rounds for come in. He charged though. He always charged. He was sharp. Maybe he was cool. I liked Abby in Japan. Look at this check I got here. I haven't cashed it yet. See, so I got some crack in here. 1 week. Yeah, yeah, he's great, man. He's funny. Look, hey, daddy, baby. Take a look at this check. Take a look at this check here from Cracker. Man.
I'm going to stick with Haystacks Calhoun, right? So when you wrestled him, what could he do?
Oh, Scott Irwin used to beat the shit out of him. The Viking. Hey, you're breaking him on me. He could cry a lot. He was no different than the Putski or anything else. You're a heel, you work to him. You do what you can do. You hit the ropes, hit them, boom, bounce off. God, what else could he would headlock you. He could take you over. Yeah. You got to fly for him. You're not going to arm drag him or put the airplane spin.
Give him a spinning toe hold.
Yeah, spinning toe hold or airplane spin. You're not gonna. He's there for. He's there for a good comeback. A couple comebacks and a finish. Maybe you got a heel you're trying to get over. Somebody's going to screw him, but usually just to put him over. He puts himself over. You want to keep him hot for the next time, so you don't want to beat him down.
Did he always win battle royals because he was too fat to take a bump over the top rope?
I don't know. No, those guys can get. I mean, they get everybody, and 5, 6 guys to kind of pour you over the top rope and out. I guess he wouldn't. Maybe that's he got out of battle royal. That's why after Andre came, everybody got out of those things, But they'd always have a spot, with those kind of him or there's Man Mountain Mike before, a couple other, we get a really big guy or Ernie Ladd. They have a spot where they, okay, let's get, you, we'll get together and we all dump this guy over the top or something.
This is going to be, I think, before your time. But did you ever hear of Happy Humphrey?
Yeah, in the magazines. He looked like he was like those my 600-pound life guys.
Mm.
He couldn't. He was huge. They had him at 701. He wasn't that fat though. I see him on TV. That show, and it's my 600-pound life. All these huge, all these people with disorders that boom. There's 500-600 pounds trying to.
But it never occurs to them to get into the wrestling business then.
No, the McGuires. The McGuires got in.
Did you ever see the McGuires?
Oh yeah, I worked with them a bunch of times.
No, did you? Never. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
You have to tell me.
Oh, I was a babyface in Hawaii. It was great. They're the greatest, man. They're the greatest. I was babyface. We're working Block Arena 6-man tag. Don Muraco and Benny and Billy. So we're Larry Sharp, Fuji, and Torkamaka, I think, were the 3 guys. So we're working, they got get stairs for them to get in the ring and stuff. They hard time get in the ring and get in, and so I'll whatever you want, I'll start. I would have started for him and just sell and give him a comeback. So give him a comeback. And the guy one day, "No, I'll start." One of the brothers goes, "I'll start." He's okay. Well, God bless you. Go on. Go on with. So he got in. So Larry Sharp got in the ring. Larry Sharp liked to fool around too. So Larry Sharp, and he'd back off. No, and big, no. And he'd walk around and he'd go to lock up again. And he'd, no, you've seen it before, that act. The wrestlers do, they back. After 3, 4, 5, however many times he do it. Benny or Billy, whichever one, he was getting tired. just walking around, just, come on, Larry. They're blowing me up, Larry. He wanted Larry to stop fooling around and the lockup. He got, just a couple circles around. He was tired. And at the end of the match, whoever did something, I don't know, somehow, I guess they caught a fall. So, the block arena didn't have the stairs. So the first brother goes to roll out of the ring. And I've told the story several times, but he rolled, and they had these big bellies that hung down between their legs, and he rolls out of the ring, and his stomach catches on the edge of the apron, and he's up and he's choking, and his feet can't reach the ground, and he's kicking. He's going, "Help me, Benny. I'm standing there, my jaw's lower on the ground than his feet are. I don't know what the hell's going on. Help me, Benny. Yeah. So brother runs over, the way they run, and he starts kicking him in the stomach as hard as he could. And he goes, and inch by inch he kicked him off the apron of the ring. He was choking. He's choking himself to death on his stomach because his left, and it pushed up to around his neck and cut off. All I remember, is, threatening Foods or Larry or whoever, doing a little afterbirth in the match. Help me, Benny. And then sitting in the planes, we did the Outer Island tour, So where they gave us, at least the Hawaiian Airlines, they knew the wrestlers and stuff. So they let us, pre-board and stuff. So me and Strong are sitting there, and that was when you had to walk up those outside. You walk up the stairs and stuff. It was still long ago, so you had to walk up to climb up the, that little stairway they had, little railing outside the plane. It was no big. Well, it was too much for them. So me and Steve Stronger sitting there, and there they are. They got them. They're sitting in the dumpster. They got them in the. They got them in, the garbage that they load the garbage and stuff in the side of the plane for the drinks and the guy, taking it. And they're sitting in there, and they're bringing them up in the forklift. They're bringing him in through the gate to the door, the cabin door, the side. Oh God.
What if one of them needed a poo while they're on the plane?
Oh, you're out of luck. Somebody's out of luck.
I mean, I know the story that Andre, they used to just have to, like, if he hadn't given himself a colonic beforehand, which apparently he used to do in later Japan trips, he'd just have to go to the back and they just have to hold up a big towel and he'd just do it on the floor or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard them shoot for the different guys, different stories. They did the Valentine did the haystacks, or Buddy Rogers did that. Then, first rumored story was about the haystacks, about haystacks coming in. Then I heard an Andre story about it, the same thing. So I luckily I never took part in any of those adventures.
I've got more questions about the Maguire twins. Did you ever see the horror of seeing them shower?
Oh yeah, they thought there was something, man. They really thought, they fed off each other. They traveled with two, I think there were two pros, two ladies that traveled with them. everybody, Ripley's, believe it or not, that book. Yeah, they were sponsored by them. That's who and I get, they'd work. I don't know what their money contract was and the transportation and stuff, but they footed part of their bill to go. So I guess after a while, they needed. I was with Dusty. I was big. Everyone did a strawberry fest. I was Brian. No, this was before Brian. He was still in college. We did a strawberry festival right outside of Tampa, and they were there, and they had those little motorcycles that they ran around. So one of them's coming back and the brakes go out. He couldn't stop. He ran right in the side of his Airstream. Boom! Hit the thing, put a big dent in the side of the van, the camper. Oh God, these guys were hysterical, man.
What did the car look like that they traveled in? Like, it must have been like specially adjusted.
Yeah. They pre-order. Like I said, Ripley's, believe it or not, had them. So they pretty much, went ahead. And I said they had the the two women that traveled with them seemed to be like wives or something. I don't know.
Were they professional freaks first and then wrestlers, or were they wrestlers first and then they got into the record-breaking big fat twin business?
I think they were freaks first. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But I think, yeah. I think they were the, world's biggest twins. I remember in Hilo, we were in Hilo with them. And there's this big fat guy, the gang leader outside. Yeah, and me and Strong, we used to take surfboards over, and there's a spot by the river. I used to take them, go down the side of the mountain, we go surf, and come back and look in this. Hey, the huge fat guy sitting out there. Oh, I like to meet the Maguires. I try to get 400 pounds, but I get blood pressure. It's the blood pressure and my heart. The doctor stopped me, but I try to go. So we tell me and Strong got a couple joints up the guy, and we're putting him over. Oh, you're a big guy. So we're in the locker room later. He comes that night, and he gets there, and he goes to, and he meets his heroes, the Maguires. They look at him. You're not bad for a little fella. Oh God. It was just, wrestling business. Very entertaining.
They say never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that someone looked up to him.
He was only about 380. Yeah. I try to go 400, no can. I get blood pressure. The young guy seemingly, probably under 30. It's hard to tell.
I just can't believe that there's like a hyper obesity like fan club of like people who want to get that fat.
Oh God.
We won't get into small gentlemen that like giant ladies. I know that's some sort of like fetish thing, feeders.
Physics, yeah. At first, yeah.
I'll move on. Rick Kurtz. I would like to know, this is a long one. I would like to know who Don's favourite manager was. Was it the Grand Wizard, who was there during his first WWF push, or Lou Albano, who brought out some of the best attitude and interviews of Don? Or was it fellow Hawaiian Mr. Fuji? That's basically it. Which was your favourite manager?
God. Oh yeah. It's like who's the best wrestler? My best match. I liked Ernie. Loved Ernie. He was a great guy. He was a good manager. Our work didn't go much past. But we met. Would have lunch or breakfast or something together at times. But our community, our association didn't go much past the TV and the promos, because that's all they'd come up for, that in the Garden. So you wouldn't see them too, or maybe a few shows are running in concurrency, or around. So you have breakfast with them or go have lunch or something, around. And Lou was kind of the same thing. And then Fuji, I was on the road with Fuji, so they're all different. Lou has a different angle, different time. Didn't travel with Lou. Lou had his own crew that he traveled with, like Fuji has all the time.
As far as just professionally on screen, who do you think added the most to your character out of those three?
Ah, like throwing stones in the water again. You can't. You're different people. You're a different character at different points of your career. When I first came into New York, boom, boom, boom. I'm Magnificent Muraco, blah blah blah, da da da. Then my snooker area with Lou Albano, a different respectful Don Johnson and all this other kind of guy, but not that. And then and not as forward or forthcoming as the original Magnificent Morocco that was with the Wizard, but this was, kind of a more devious, more sinister character doing, different kind of crap. And then guy with Fuji, and again a whole different. I morphed into like a third person. As you go through the bit, you've got to keep yourself. You got to keep yourself fresh. You got to keep moving. You can't, and be, like Pedro the Bay. I love you, the people of Philadelphia. You beautiful, and I love you, all beautiful people. And they get into a Spanish rage, and then but you can't do. If you're a heel, you got to be Piper, keep current. News, special events, music, whatever it is, movies. Up to the time I at AC/DC, I lived on there. My promos are all based on their work. I loved AC/DC. Yeah, and other guys. But just comes to mind immediately as I'm rambling.
I noticed this guy didn't mention superstar Billy Graham as a favorite manager.
He was a good man. He was good. We didn't spend that much time together. And we just spent, not fair. He and I didn't spend a lot, a couple times. It wasn't a prolonged relationship.
I'm going to give you some more names of managers then. Out of the ones I'll tell you, so like Jimmy Hart, Bobby Heenan, Slick, Freddie Blassie. Who out of maybe those four do you think would have been best fits for you if they had managed you? Or Humperdinck, there's another one.
I was with Hump in Florida. Yeah, Hump was great, man. Loved Humperdinck. Then I heard you say Ricky Morton said he was gay. I never, he never came across.
Yeah, some people have challenged that as well, so who knows?
I don't know. He was, then he loved Dusty. He worked hard for that Florida office. He cut the hell out of himself. He would loved the business. As unathletic a person as you could ever find. Go over his house and pound on his door, 5 o'clock to go on, 4 o'clock, get up and go on the road. He'd be up all night, up all night, drinking whiskey or whatever.
How come he didn't last in the WWF? He only seemed to be there for a few months.
I have no idea. No idea.
He was managing Bam Bam.
But he was somebody. I don't know. He was friends with Terry Garvin. I don't know if that was a plus or a minus or what happened to that. Kind of he was with Bam Bam for a while, and I'm sure if something like that, it's usually the older managers, the more established managers that got something, that got something to get to sink your boat a little, take the tarnish off your star a little bit. So somebody submarining him could have been somewhere. I don't know who would.
Well, it says here on Wikipedia, well, that's like it says Bigelow and Humperdinck left the WWF together in mid-1988 and stayed together on the independent circuit for a while.
Who's that?
This is Humperdinck.
And who?
Bam Bam.
Oh, okay. No, they weren't that close.
It's been close enough. I mean, or maybe they were just a package deal and they both got released at the same time. Do you remember when Bam Bam got released? What was that about? He was a huge prospect.
The first time was kind of after I got it. We both, because I remember doing a couple independent show with him in Pennsylvania or something somewhere. So then he came back later when they did the LT thing and that big angle with LT and the other stuff he was doing. But what about Bam Bam now? Him, Humpy
Yeah,
Bam Bam?
why was Bam Bam let go? Because he came in with huge fanfare, and he was touted as, you know, potentially a next champion, and he came in as a babyface as well, despite the fact that he looked like he did.
Oh, I heard he hit now this is, you know, I heard he hit on a number or something, you know, and Vince wanted his piece, and his dad, you know, like Vince wanted his piece of everything. What you do, and his old man had a roofing company, and there's several stories. I don't know. I was way gone. I was back here on the shores of Oahu by then.
No, you were still in the company mid '88, so you were there
Oh,
until late '88.
Yeah, but not much. No, that was but he was. It was at the end of '88. He was gone. I
Yeah,
remember we did a couple independents just before I left. Came back to Hawaii. We did independent in somewhere in Philadelphia or New Jersey or something.
I remember Lanny Poffo saying once that he was not a fan at all of Bam Bam, and he had a bad attitude. But then apparently when he came back years later, he was light years ahead professionally, and he'd sort of dialed down the ego quite a lot.
Yeah. That's after Andre sat on him for 30 minutes in the garden.
I'll probably do it.
Yeah. We went, our wives were, his wife was somewhere, my wife was in Florida. So he picked me up. He lived a couple, 20, 30 miles from where I did in New Jersey. So he picked me up, went to the garden together. That was the same night he worked with Andre. And I guess they'd been in tags or something all week long. He was, and it was pretty good weeks for those days. You know, 12, 15, 11, 12 grand a week they pulled in, you know, from a couple, you know, shows and stuff. And he was griping about it. And Andre was like a general for Vince Senior or something. And he just he just laid on him. 30-minute match, about 29 minutes, and they decided to beat him. So we happened to be riding together that night. So I took him there's a Argentinian steak restaurant just a little bit around from the Ramada Inn where all the boys used to stay. And Andre used to go there a lot too. So we were there, we're just finishing up our steak and sangria. We're driving back to New Jersey. And we're both going home for the night. And here comes Andre and Timmy White walking down the street, coming to, you know, they had a couple babes with them or something, coming down to just that, I can't remember the name of it, but to that Argentinian restaurant. And Bam Bam goes, "Oh no, here comes Andre. Hope he's not going to beat me up again." But Andre just walked in, shook hands. "Oh, how you, boss? Hello, boss." Send us over a drink. And you know, he took away when he was split.
You ever spend time with Tim White?
Not really. He was, you know, he was Andre with Andre at the end, and then refereeing and stuff. But no, you know, I have a couple of beers with him once in a while, but you know, I didn't really hang.
Okay, I'll move on then. Kenny De La Pena, did he being you, ever wrestle in Albuquerque in the Civic Auditorium with promoter Mike London? And did you ever wrestle with Cyclone Negro or Ricky Romero?
Both, yeah, Cyclone and Ricky. I was maybe the different Ricky Romero though. There were two of them. I think I was the other one. The fast talking Ricky Romero. I think there was a Mexican, but Cyclone Negro, yeah, he was a hell of a heel, great heel, Spanish, American, Spanish, any kind of heel you wanted to be. He was a hell of a heel.
Tell me more about him, because I know nothing about Cyclone Negro.
Oh yeah, he was big, you know, a good card, strong card. All of Texas, California's, even through the Midwest and stuff. I think, you know, he was He was a long time.
So I'm looking him up now.
Yeah.
I thought he was like so San Francisco. I think he was a big
Yeah.
drawing card, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Mm.
Texas, he was born around Texas too, wasn't he? Florida, Texas, probably that whole East Coast panhandle down there, Florida and Carolina and Georgia. Probably once you're in Florida, you do business there, you hit all the other, they work you all the way, pass you all the way through that company there.
It says here that he was responsible for training Omar Atlas, and I know the name Omar Atlas from. He seemed like an old fella, and he was enhancement talent in the WWF, wasn't he, in the mid-late 80s?
Way before my time. Omar Atlas?
I'm sure it was Omar Atlas, yeah. 1938. There we go. He joined in 1984 as... Yeah, no, he was enhancement talent for like nearly 10 years for the WWF, starting in 84.
As Omar Atlas?
As Omar Atlas, yeah.
Oh.
All right, we'll move on. There's a strikeout, I think.
Right.
Andrew Alty, I've heard that Madison Square Garden was not all it was cracked up to be in terms of facilities back in the 1980s. Also, figuring out how to park there could also be a nightmare. What are your memories of the facility in the WWF glory days?
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. It's a garden, brother. That's the most famous arena in the world. What facilities? What was sauna bath? This is what you go.
Ice bath and massage chairs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no. Locker room. Pretty much, like all the other, like all the locker rooms. Just getting there, parking. Well, a couple times I drove, and there was a restaurant down right across the street you could park and kind of sneak in the back door. Sometimes if you had a big, there's later, there's a lot of times you had to go out in the ambulance. They take the heels out in the ambulance and you just park your car. You'd leave your car at the Ramada Inn, whether you're staying overnight or not. The office had a rate there. I think they used to have an office there in the Ramada Inn, so they had a rate for the wrestlers. So you could go, you could leave your car, whether you're staying at night or not. So you get a ride back. Usually ambulance. If you're in late matches, you'd be in the ambulance, or if you could get out early in the taxi, it's about $3-4 cab ride, right from the garden to right up to the Ramada.
Would you always hope to be on early so you could escape early and then not have to get in the ambulance?
Well, but as a rule, usually the main event went on. They'd have two intermissions. The main event would go on right after the first intermission, and you go did that, and maybe another match after that, then a second intermission, then come back after that to announce. If you work some kind of angle in your main event, well, if you go to hour, you go on last. But if you went in and did some snooker or Tito or something like that, and we fought in and out of the ring, and they had to pull us apart or something, and then they'd announce after the second intermission, Muraco and Snuka back in a Texas Tornado or whatever, lumberjack, or so it's been signed by Jack Tunney, just been signed by Jack Tunney. Muraco and Snuka back in a Fijian lumberjack match or whatever it is,
I know that obviously the WWF and the McMahon sort of consider Madison Square Garden their home arena, but as far as you were concerned, what was so special about it? Was it the fans? Was it the building itself? Was it just because of how famous it was? Why did you like it?
Yeah, just the aura, just the whole aura. Probably maybe like where was the Wembley? Is that
1992 SummerSlam? Yeah, Wembley Stadium, the old Wembley Stadium.
But where the singer, the guy, the redheaded guy,
Mick Hucknall?
No, big singer in the United States now.
Oh, Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, Didn't he do 3 days in a row or 2, 3 days?
Yeah, he probably did. Yeah, he's
Couple
like the most
numbers,
popular guy in the world.
couple years ago or something. He did in the big stadium in London or something.
Hmm.
I saw, I was watching something on TV about it. But yeah, it's just, like the aura, just from the United States. I don't know what, guys from the other, other countries, different parts of the world think about it. But, if you're from the good old US, Garden's always, always been the, just the aura. Nothing really, nothing really special about a lot of buildings, just, all those big buildings, pretty much the same. Boston, Philly.
It's definitely the world's most famous arena, but for quite a few years, and I used to actually look at the statistics for this because I always found it funny, is that Madison Square Garden was either the second or third most people in attendance in a given year. And number one in the world was Manchester, the Manchester Arena. It was the most busy arena, had the most people in it per year for years. And then that was taken over by London when the O2 came in, because there's a big thing on the Canary Wharf on the docks called the Millennium Dome. It was a giant disaster, so they ended up putting an arena in it. And then that's now probably like the most busy arena in the world. And then there's one in Glasgow. For whatever, just people love gigs here, man. Wrestling or music or whatever. I mean, the arenas are filled constantly. And
you can't go out. Like not in California, you can go surfing, you can go skiing.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do.
Go to the desert. You're pretty much, Midwest, like Chicago, Milwaukee, all those places, And then wherever you got a population, I don't know. Garden was, they had, it was always, generally, a good crowd there for wrestling.
Well, did anyone ever try and stab you?
Probably, but I never did.
No.
I might have, not that I know of, no.
Well, I know that Piper, Larry Zbyszko got stabbed, I know that. Piper got stabbed, but I don't think that was an arena, was it? Wasn't he breaking up a fight or something?
It was down in Charlotte, an arena. I wasn't there, but I was in an arena. He came, talking about, because we went to, then he came on the Georgia end from the TBS TV where he was doing, that TV, because I remember we went on a loop there.
Yeah, it turned him good guy, didn't he? Didn't they use the story that he got stabbed?
Yeah. He was starting to turn anyway, but that was the kicker there. That got him. Anybody that got kind of talent, that talks and keeps it up and gives you a good show and stuff all the time. Then eventually they're going to turn, and they're going to just hardcore is not going to like them, but eventually your college guys, your young guy, all those, all your wise guys are going to start, liking the heels and stuff, all your heel lovers, and then that slowly it runs over, kind of. All those kind of guys, they all turn.
Because I'm not familiar with the story, so from what you heard, what was the stabbing? What did that entail?
Oh, I was walking out, going down. The guy was pulled a knife and was flashing it. And there was a bunch of kids around, and he wrapped up a towel or a shirt around his hand. The guy, and slashed him. And I guess he cold cocked. Finally, he dropped the guy, and they arrested him. But he cut him a little bit.
Where was it? Was it like a full? You said a slash, so was it like more of a cut, or was it a?
Well, it wasn't real big, Yeah. I mean, it could have been. It was, it was covered.
We'll move on then. I've got a couple more for you, then we'll close it down. Jonathan Scouse. Don, what was it like working Eastern Championship Wrestling in 1993? And did you know... Sorry, what was going... Okay, we know about that one. Any stories involving Public Enemy from Eastern Championship Wrestling?
Who was Public Enemy?
Well, I think that pretty much answers it then, so no.
No. Maybe did they stay Public Enemy, or?
Yeah, they were tag team for a good few years. They're in WCW as well. They're even in WWF briefly before Bradshaw and Farouk saw them out.
White guys, black guys.
White guys acted black, like almost like a hip hop thing.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Well, I had a feeling that might be the answer, but I thought I'd ask anyway. Jared Smith asks, if I can get the page right. Hey, James, can you ask Don if there's any thoughts of putting him, Piper, Orton, and Orndorff as an on-screen faction given their off-screen friendship?
I read that. I didn't understand it.
Well, it's sort of thought that you were like an original clique in the WWF in the 80s. Not like wielding power, but you, Roddy Piper, Bob Orton, Paul Orndorff were good friends behind the scenes, travelled together quite a lot. And was there any thought of making that off-screen friendship an on-screen association?
Oh, gee, no. I don't think so. Bob went to did the bodyguard thing. Orndorff were partners, and then I don't think him and Roddy ever broke off in any angle after that, did they?
Who?
After
Piper and Orndorff? No, I don't think so, no. Oh, no, they did actually. They had a confrontation because that's what turned Orndorff good guy. Because Paul Orndorff turns babyface after WrestleMania 1 because Piper blames him for the loss and etc.
Yeah.
So they did have a feud, I think, afterwards. That what's turned him babyface, and then a year later he turns heel again.
I can't see him drop any falls in that feud.
No. I imagine not. I'm trying to think because essentially, I mean, all four of you, because you
only airplanes.
Any airplanes. You teamed and feuded with Piper and Orton, both guys, and you feuded with Paul.
Orton not till the end, till just before they turned me baby.
Yeah, but you tagged with him.
Yeah, I tagged with him for several months. Wyndham and Wyndham and Rotundo and Danny and Rotundo, and, bunch of guys.
Did you ever? Okay, I'm going to ask this then. Did you ever go to the office and ask or request to work with someone specifically, either as an opponent or a tag team partner?
Oh no. Well, guys used to, you would do that and request probably, I want to take this guy. I want to work an angle. I think I can do business. I can work an angle with this guy. It depends what kind of plans they had, and you got to be locked in. You got to be spending time in the office. So then guys used to do that. Now they go, they're talking about guys, these manipulate offices now. But they did that. They did that, from day one. When Adam was wrestling Eve. So it's always somebody bringing in. Box of donuts or something into the office, to grease somebody's palm,
Well, not as in like manipulating the office then, but let's say you're in Florida or San Francisco or wherever you are, and you see someone come in and you think, man, I could have a real good match with him. Maybe I should just suggest. I mean, did it ever go that far? You ever suggested a name for a match one night?
No, everything was booked ahead of time, The advertising has to go out. You had to be square with the commission. The number of things that you had to. Like I tell you, this was like a show. It was like a program, like a show. Going there, everybody had their first match, second match. You got your athletic commission with your card. Okay, boom. Say just bend over, call.
I'll ask a couple more then, because that's more of a strikeout question. Rick Jones, which wrestlers would Don suspect could have made the greatest used car salesman?
Oh, God.
I mean, Dusty Rhodes did at one point, because I've seen him do adverts for used cars.
Dusty, Pipe, obviously. Bobby Heenan. Lou could sell you a car. He's just be talking. Lou could, when it gets going, a little vodka, he could go like hell. Oh, the Wizard, and the Wizard was Wiz was the TV evangelist, radio evangelist. Put your hand on the radio. Say the prayer. Yeah, Feel the spirit. Feel the spirit come to you. Feel the spirit come to you and put $1 in the envelope and send it to, P.O. Box. This, that. That was the Wizards gig.
Okay, I'll ask it slightly differently then. So let's say like the most convincing promos is one thing, but who was the most untrustworthy carny type? I know there's quite a lot of them, but who's the guy who you just couldn't trust with what they said ever?
Oh, I get in trouble. I get in trouble to give you those names. Yeah, alive or dead, they have relatives and stuff. Oh, we've mentioned them before, and yeah, there's a couple guys. Yeah.
No names forthcoming then.
Oh no, that's
Okay.
That's
I'll leave that one then. Peter D, do you remember? Peter D, do you remember a Rudy Diamond? Apparently, he was super tough, and one of his roles was to protect other wrestlers from fights in bars. Apparently, Chief Jay Strongbow warned Andre off from messing with him.
Oh my God! No, I don't. Was he in the Eastern Seaboard there?
I've never heard of him.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get rid of that one. I'm going to end on one that you're going to answer. So, Albert Calabrese, which wrestlers today does Don think are legit tough guys? I could be wrong, but most wrestlers today seem to be more actors than legitimately tough.
Good God! How the hell would I? Not today. Jesus Christ! I didn't know who the guys in the '90s were tough. Jesus.
Okay.
They're all acrobatic and athletic. Not all, but good number of them are. I've heard guys are tough. One of the guys with Chris, with Jericho, kid from Oklahoma, Jack something.
Swagger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fights for Bellator here and there. I'll ask it this way: you walk into a bar, the roughest bar in the world, and you get to take 3 wrestlers with you to back you up. Who are the 3 toughest barroom fighting wrestlers that you would trust with your life?
Oh God, there's a Harley Robinson, Daku. And there's other guys that don't nobody ever talks about Jack Briscoe being a tough guy. All those guys just, and he didn't look like nothing. He sat there smoking his Marlboros all the time. And, he wasn't, Danny Hodge. Whoever figured Danny Hodge would grab your hand and just break it. Just pulverize, There's guys that did, but, the guys had reputation and stuff. Just for 3, Robinson, Harley, and Tonga. Yeah, that's 3. But there's a lot, there's that Fuji, oh God, lots of other guys. Billy Jack, I don't even know Billy Jack. I heard Danny Spivey, other guys,
Brody.
Guys you don't even know about, and it's, every dog has his day too. There's a lot of tough guys, but there's gonna be something, and your time isn't right. It's not your time.
Is Andre's reputation as a tough guy a bit over exaggerated sometimes?
Yeah, I don't think he was. I don't know him to ever be a tough guy. Only when somebody would bother him or something. He would. He never looked for trouble or anything. I don't think. Maybe different at times. I don't think he ever, tried to be. I see him backhand that one guy in Boston and grab some other guys, but he never, that was the guy who kept calling him out. Finally said, "The hell with that!" Boom, swatted him halfway across the room.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other people. So I don't know, Bad News Brown. I said Bruiser Brody. I don't think you ever met him, did you?
No, I think Brad News Brown. He didn't go out a lot. He wasn't an out. Well, I guess he was a tough. He was a. Was he a silver medalist or is that?
I think he was like a bronze medalist in judo.
Yeah, well, that's. it's up there. You know, I worked with him one time here in Hawaii. Wasn't much of a match, but it was just back and forth, back and forth. It was okay.
Yeah. Okay. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head from like the 17th. Oh, Dr. Bill Miller.
Before my time.
Yeah. Well, I've heard quite a few stories about him, but he was just like a total badass.
Yeah. That was Thez. When Thez was young, all those guys. Thez was a badass. He went over to Japan all by himself, just with his wife. And later was, but that was the early days with Ricky Dozan and those guys. Then Blassie and those guys went in there, and Blassie went in there and wowed him with the blood and the filing in the teeth and stuff like that. Dozan, he made friends with Dozan. He ended up married a Japanese girl
with filed teeth and everything. He could still pull.
He just filed each other's teeth.
Right, so on that note, I don't think we're going to get a better sort of like ending of a husband and wife filing each other's teeth down in an act of whatever that was. Right, so I'll close the podcast down. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you next week, and thank you, Don, for entertaining us once again.
Aloha.